Today, we're diving deep into a really powerful ecological critique of our modern world, one that comes from the writings of Abdullah Öcalan. This isn't just another look at environmental problems. No, this vision says that our social and ecological crises are not accidents. They are the direct, intentional result of a system called industrialism. So what exactly is that? And what's the alternative? Let's get into it. This quote right here, it gets straight to the heart of the matter. The core idea is that industrialism, working for capitalism, has a very specific job: to completely dismantle the way of life that came before it. Those societies built around agriculture and village life. So we're not just talking about factories and pollution. We're talking about a fundamental, deliberate reshaping of human society itself. Okay, here's our roadmap. First, we'll unpack what's called the modern apocalypse, the threat of industrialism. Then we'll look at the three pillars that hold this whole system up. After that, we'll explore the incredible alternative, the ecological society, and see a vision for how it could be built. And finally, we'll dig into a fascinating question: what's the real role of technology in all of this? So let's start with this powerful idea of a modern apocalypse. To really get it, though, we have to first be crystal clear on what is meant by industrialism. It's probably not what you think. See, this is the absolute key. Industrialism isn't just about machines or factories. It's a whole ideology. It's about taking the cold, hard laws of science and forcing them onto human society for one single purpose: to make the most profit possible. And in that worldview, things like community, morality, tradition, they're not just unimportant, they're actual roadblocks to be cleared away. The language here is intentionally shocking because the stakes are so high. It doesn't hold back. By putting profit above absolutely everything else, people, nature, life itself, industrial capitalism is framed as an existential threat, the true angel of death for our planet. This is way beyond just an economic critique. It's a deeply moral and ecological one. And here are the results. The damage goes so much deeper than just the environment. We're talking about endless economic crises, huge gaps between the rich and poor, and the slow decay of our moral and political fabric. Even culture itself gets industrialized. Art, sports, even human relationships are turned into products. The end result is a society that is always in a state of falling apart. So you have to ask, how does a system like this actually sustain itself? Well, to get to the bottom of the crisis, we need to look at the very foundation of what's called capitalist modernity. Turns out, it stands on three legs. And here they are. First, there's capitalism, the economic engine just relentlessly chasing profit. Second, you have industrialism, the ideology we just talked about, which acts as the vehicle for forcing that profit logic onto every corner of our lives. And third, you have the nation-state, which provides the political muscle and legal framework to protect and enforce the whole thing. And you absolutely cannot separate them. They're a package deal. Now, this is a powerful metaphor. Industrialism is compared to the Leviathan, a giant, uncontrollable monster. The idea is that, centuries ago, people realized the nation-state was its own kind of monster that needed to be chained down with constitutions and laws. While today, industrialism is the new monster, and the only force powerful enough to rein it in is ecology. Okay, so if that's the diagnosis of the problem, what's the solution? This brings us to the most hopeful part of this whole analysis: the vision for creating a truly ecological society. And the contrast between the two models is it's night and day. Where industrial society is all about maximizing profit, an ecological society is guided by moral and political principles. One seeks to dominate nature, a mindset identified here as Western. The other seeks harmony with nature, a principle seen as Eastern. One leads to isolation and decay, the other to a rich, communal, and democratic life. It's a fundamental choice between two completely different ways of being. And what's so critical to understand here is that this isn't about inventing something brand new. The vision is that for almost all of human history, our societies were ecological by their very nature. Industrialism is the radical break from that past, a rebellion against life itself. And a rebellion like that can only lead one way, towards catastrophe. Now, I know this can all sound a bit abstract, but this vision is anything but. It proposes a very real, very concrete starting point for building this new world, and it's focused on a specific, historically significant place. The proposal is to begin in the Fertile Crescent, the cradle of civilization itself. The logic is beautiful. If this is where the agricultural revolution and city life first began, then it can also be the place for a democratic and ecological rebirth. It's about that region reclaiming its own incredible history for the future.
So how does it work in practice? The vision is laid out step by step. It begins with creating a foundational commune built around the shared resources of water, agriculture, and energy. From that base, every economic activity is rebuilt on ecological principles. Then, that communal structure expands to every part of society. And here's the kicker. Modern technology is used, but it's put to work to serve these new democratic and ecological goals, not profit.
And to make it even clearer, this model is directly contrasted with something like the European Coal and Steel Community, the project that grew into the EU. A union founded on coal and steel, the very heart of industrialism, is, by its very design, anti-ecological. This new model for the Middle East, though, would be founded on the elements of life: water, soil, and renewable energy. Okay, this brings us to our final point, and it might just be the most important one. What do we do about technology? Is it the villain in the story, or is there another way to see it? And the insight here is absolutely fascinating. Technology itself is not the enemy. The problem isn't the tool, it's the system that wields it. When used by industrialism, technology becomes a weapon of domination, leading to destruction. But in the hands of an ecological society, that very same technology can become a powerful tool for liberation, for freedom, and for creating a truly democratic and balanced world. And that's really the question that this whole analysis leaves us with. It forces us to look past the shiny gadgets and ask, who is this technology serving? Can it ever truly be a force for liberation on its own? Or is its destiny and ours completely tied to the social and economic system it's a part of? It's a huge question to think about. Thanks for joining us.